What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zack Axe, bringing you another edition of WWE Weekly Awards. Now, this is going to be one of those weeks where we don't have as many topics to talk about, only 2 topics, and then we will still incorporate the speed round. And we're just going to give out the 5 awards like usual. This was a very entertaining week of wrestling. I think Raw and Smackdown were both very good. I think Smackdown was actually very, very good this week, especially because the 3 title matches, well, 2 of them. We'll get into that, though. And then NXT, I think, was right in the middle. I don't think NXT was great. It wasn't bad. I think all the shows had something to offer, and that's, not something you can expect every week from WWE. Of course, this was the week heading into Night of Champions. Usually, like I said, I was trying to get these videos out before the pay-per-view, but that wasn't going to work with everything that was happening around that time. So instead, I'm going to have this coming out Monday like usual, but we already know what happened at Night of Champions, but we're not factoring in anything that happened at Night of Champions. If you want to see the review of that, go check out that. It's already on the channel. We're going to go ahead and start with the award Match of the Week. Now, Match of the Week was the hardest award for me to give because there was 2 very, very good matches that I was going to pick from. And I'm just going to go ahead and give the honorable mention to the match that was very close to winning this award, and that was Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso in the semifinals of King of the Ring on Monday Night Raw. For being a face versus face match, that match was very, very good. But then on Friday Night SmackDown, we had the Women's WWE Championship match between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton in a Last Woman Standing match. And that match is the match that, of course, is going to win this award. This might be the first ever time that a female match has won the award, which is a long time coming, but this match was absolutely great. I think this is exactly the type of match that Tiffany needs to have against heels. Is she needs to look more like the underdog in a situation. Like, I feel like her versus Charlotte Flair, I know she's the champion, but her versus Charlotte Flair, she wasn't really the underdog, and then it really just didn't really feel like it worked too much. But her match against Nia, she felt like the underdog. She felt like there was, and there's always the ever-living presence of Naomi, too, being Miss Money in the Bank, who did make a run in, and then got stopped before she could cash in. And we had, honestly, the only gripe I really have about this entire match was that I think when Tiffany got hit with the, what's that move called? What's Nia's finisher called? I don't remember, the bonsai drop, whatever that move's called. She got to her feet. I think because of how they've been selling that move, I think the only thing that she should have done, she should have rolled out of the ring and landed on her feet like they usually do in those types of matches. But that's just a small gripe in a match that overall was very good. There was a lot of action. There was a lot of, spots with outside the ring and inside the ring. This match overall was just very, very good. And it's funny because just last week I was saying how I didn't want to see this match, and I'm glad it was happening on Friday Night SmackDown because I don't care about this match. But they showed up, they showed out. This match was absolutely amazing, and it's winning Match of the Week. And then we're going to give out my second award, which is very simple too. It's not going to really need any explaining, and that's just the fact that it's going to be woman MVP, female MVP, and it's going to go to Tiffany Stratton for her amazing match and amazing retain. Honorable mentions for this award, though, I'm going to go ahead and give to Jordynne Grace. We're going to talk about her in 1 second. And Julia. Julia is your new Women's United States Champion, and that match with Zelina Vega was pretty good too, but that's, I think, exactly what needed to happen. They need to take the title off Zelina and see where Julia can do with it before we maybe revisit Zelina down the road. But overall, Tiffany Stratton's winning double awards this week because she had such a good match with Nia Jax, even if the crowd was kind of lame for it. And that's going to lead us right into our first topic, first of 2 topics, and it's just going to be the Women's NXT Championship Gauntlet that we've been going through. And the only reason I'm using this as a topic is because I've covered this as a topic for the last, I just bit my tongue, for the last couple weeks. I talked about it when they were first announced it, and I talked about when they won, and now I'm going to talk about it now that it's happened. We had the Fatal 4-Way. The Fatal 4-Way was not a great match. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't, amazing. Of course, it was between Jada Parker, we had Izzy Dame in there, Lash Legend, and Jordynne Grace. And I thought Jordynne Grace was the only correct winner here. She was the only one in the ring that was a face. And I just feel like JC Jane versus another heel might work, but I don't think it would work to the levels of her versus a face. So I, of course, did say that Jordynne Grace should be the one that wins the Fatal 4-Way after all the women had qualified, and she did. And there were some pretty good spots in the match overall. We had a part where everybody was trading their finishers. We had like every single finisher hit, and then, of course, we ended up having Jordynne Grace win, and she will go to Evolution 2 to face JC Jane, which is the completely correct decision. I am very happy that Jordynne Grace gets another crack at it. I don't know if she's going to win. She might just have another loss here, and maybe this is what's going to send her to the main roster. But either way, I think if she wins, I'm glad that Jordynne Grace is finally getting to hold the championship that she's been trying so hard to get ever since she got there, even before she got there when she was in TNA. And if Jacy Jayne's reign is going to continue, that's fine too. Either way, I'm just excited for this match, and I'm excited for Jacy Jayne to get one of her first challengers in Jordynne Grace. Next award I'm going to go ahead and give out is Team of the Week. Now, this is an award that I honestly have thought about removing recently with how terrible the tag divisions have been. And this is going to be a perfect time for me to talk about it. We're going to talk about actually the next topic, which is why I put this award here. But I'm going to give honorable mention to DIY because they put on an absolutely amazing match, like a phenomenal match that I think could have been in contention for match of the week. It was probably third after the the Cody and Tiffany matches, but I am going to give the Team of the Week to people that really aren't even really a team, in Rey Fénix and Andrade. Now, these two have teamed a couple times since they've both been on Smackdown, and every time they're just very entertaining. I think they have a couple missteps that they seem to hit every single match that they have together, but overall, their matches together have been pretty insane, and this was a very good match against these like four of the best pure in-ring wrestlers on Smackdown. So this match was great. I'm glad DIY gets to wrestle again because I feel like they haven't had the opportunity to wrestle in quite a minute. And we got their match against Rey Fénix and Andrade, and honestly at this point I'd be okay with just leaving Andrade and Rey Fénix together in the tag division, because if we're not going to do anything with them anywhere else, leave them in the tag division and let them cook over there, because this division, I'll talk about it more in a second, is kind of falling apart. So overall, on a week where we didn't have any like good tag team wrestling on any of the shows, anyways, we're going to give this award to Rey Fénix and Andrade. That does lead into our next topic, which is going to be the SmackDown tag team division. Now, this is a division where it was stacked at one point, and then all we did was add Fraxium to it, and it became even more stacked. It had 6 phenomenal tag teams that were getting time and getting to actually wrestle. But there's been this like thing that's been going on in the SmackDown tag team division for so long, where it's like we always have to end the matches in a no contest. Like there's always got to be another tag team interfering with those tag teams, and we can't just have 2 teams feuding. It always has to be 3, 4, or all of them, which sometimes is okay, but just recently it just hasn't been working. I hate that we're constantly ending in no DQs or no contest DQs. And that's what we got again this week on SmackDown. The Wyatt Six challenging for the tag titles, and we had a non-decisive winner because everyone just started brawling. Los Garza was there actually, which is funny because for a while it looked like they were just getting shoved away too. But Los Garza, Fraxium, DIY, everybody in the SmackDown tag division was out there other than really Pretty Deadly and Andrade and Rey Fénix, and they just started beating up the Wyatt Six, and then the Street Profits were fighting them, and the match wasn't even that good to start with. And now they're fighting, which, I mean, if you heard me say it on my predictions in last week's Weekly Awards, I said I did not want the Wyatt Six to win, but I thought they were going to win. But either way, I didn't want the Wyatt Six to win, because ever since the Wyatt Six have gotten introduced, it feels like the SmackDown tag division hasn't been getting as much TV time, hasn't been getting to wrestle their regular matches, and it just feels like the Wyatt Six is kind of destroying the SmackDown tag team division. And now that we're just having everybody brawling against the Wyatt Six, all these bad guys and good guy teams are working together to face the Wyatt Six. It's just, instead of having our great SmackDown tag team division, it's kind of slowly falling apart. Hopefully they can get it back on track. It's not that hard to get this division back on track. I think the Wyatt Six being in the SmackDown tag division is great, and I hope they stay there. I just think we need to stop just having every match end in no contest, and stop having the Wyatt Six just like basically ruining every single match because they're just coming out to end matches in no contest. So that's really my biggest gripe right now. I think the SmackDown tag team division is still the best tag division in wrestling, and I think if we just can fix it a little bit and kind of stop with the Wyatt Six crap and all that stupid stuff, then we'll be fine. Next award I'm going to give out is Promo of the Week. Now, there was actually quite a few good promos over every single brand. OFME had a great promo on NXT, just telling y'all why he's the ruler, and he ends up getting interrupted by Jasper Troy and Yoshiki. But then we also had a great promo from Seth Rollins and Gunther, both on Monday Night Raw, respectively. But the person that's going to be winning this award for a promo that I wouldn't really consider technically a promo is going to be CM Punk. I know CM Punk and John Cena have been flipping this award for the last like 3-4 weeks. One of them's getting it. But I had to give it to CM Punk for his Doctor of Thugonomics or Punkanomics promo, where he just came out. He stole John Cena's whole shtick back in the day when he would just come out and rap and bully his opponents with, rap. And he did it. He came out. I'm pretty sure he was wearing a Nikki Bella hat, first of all, which is freaking hilarious. And then, he made jokes about Nikki Bella. He made jokes about John Cena, obviously. He made jokes about John Cena's run. He made jokes about stealing the pipe bomb. He made jokes about burying talent. Like everything that you could make a joke about John Cena, CM Punk made a joke about. And he actually flipped the crowd on him too, because if you saw it, like if you heard it just like I did, the crowd were booing him at first. Like they were very split. But by the end of that promo, they were all chanting for CM Punk and cheering. So they, didn't like CM Punk because of his old comments. But after that promo, he absolutely flipped the crowd. So a promo that can, 1, be hilarious, 2, get you hype, and 3, flip a crowd. I think that promo easily has to win this award. It's now time for the speed round. If you don't know what the speed round is, every weekly awards we have a speed round where I just run through all the things that I didn't have a chance to talk about in full. I know I could have thrown a couple of these in topics, but I'm just trying to get out a shorter video for you guys since we have Night of Champions this week. So real quick, SmackDown is going back to 2 hours. That's a huge W. I mean, on one hand, I like the 3 hours because I like the fact that we have more talent flourishing, but I also don't like the fact that we're losing an hour because we're losing a lot of talent that get to wrestle, and that's why the SmackDown tag division was flourishing, and a lot of things were flourishing on SmackDown was because of the extra hour. And maybe they'll be able to work it into everything, and I think it'll be fine. I'm just happy I get the extra hour of my life back. Why was Javon Evans trying to win against Tavion Heights? If Tavion Heights beat Javon Evans, he would get out of the group. And Tavion and Javon were good guys. They're friends. There's no stakes to this. So Javon could have just ate the loss and been fine and let his friend out of the group. But instead, he made sure he won. Why did Javon not just lose intentionally so that he could get Tavion out of the NQCC? Also, Tavion Heights, I guess I wasn't really aware of his game. I've seen him wrestle a couple of times, but this match was definitely, I think, one of Tavion Heights' best matches since he was been on NXT, and I think this match was very good. Talked about it a little bit, but Julia is your new Women's United States Champion. I'm excited to see where this goes. I think this division, compared to the Women's IC title, has really struggled to get up off of the ground running, and I think a champion like Julia is definitely a great way to start. We have 2 big profile injuries this week, starting with Dominic Mysterio getting injured, the IC champion, but they didn't say anything about taking the title off him, so it must not be that serious of an injury if he's, going to not be getting the title stripped. So he's going to keep the title. His match with AJ Styles has been postponed, which really sucked because I was excited for that match. And then the other high profile injury is on NXT. Noam Dar's been injured. It feels like he just came back from injury. He just won the Heritage Cup and now he's injured again, which is, it's really funny because 3 recent injuries have all been to champions. We had the Heritage Cup champion Noam Dar, the Intercontinental champion Dominic Mysterio, and the Women's Tag Team champion Liv Morgan. So it seems like if you're a champion in WWE right now, you're going to get injured. But then Noam Dar's injury did make Stax' match with him get changed into Stax versus the Don, a rematch from NXT Battleground. And the match at NXT Battleground was very entertaining, and I think this match was entertaining too. But I think it starts to get overbooked a little bit with the whole everybody that's involved in it. And then of course we're still building the whole Luca and Tony betrayal storyline, whether Luca's on his side or not, because he keeps hitting him and costing him matches and stuff. And he costed a match here, and now our new Heritage Cup champion is Stax, which I'm okay with because Stax definitely needs a push. I think he could be a main eventer. And then in the Heritage Cup match too, why are cheap shots not a DQ? I feel like if we're going by rules, what's the point of having a bell if you can still hit people after the bell and get away with it? There's no point deduction, there's no point system, you don't lose anything. I think it should be a DQ, automatic point for the other person if you do a cheap shot after the round. Because the rounds suck anyways, might as well actually make it make sense. Bayley versus Lynch was a pretty good match. It wasn't amazing. And then we had Lyra Valkyria to break it up, leading into probably the triple threat Evolution that we've all been predicting for a while. Next week we will see, well actually tomorrow at this point, we will see Yoshiki taking on Jasper Troy to face Obafemi, and I'm really hoping Yoshiki can pick up a win over Jasper Troy, because I do not want to see Jasper Troy versus Obafemi again. The first match wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I want to see somebody different, and I think Yoshiki is a great option. Trick Williams versus Josh Briggs wasn't that bad, but it looks like it's inevitably setting up to Trick Williams versus Joe Hendry, which I'm guessing is where we're finally going to give the TNA Championship back to Joe Hendry, so we can get back to the regular. But we had that little shock moment, like month run for Trick, but I think Trick will most likely be losing the title to Joe Hendry when that rematch happens. Aleister Black has moved into a feud with R-Truth, and I'm glad they're doing something with both these guys, so I'm sure this will be entertaining. I talked about it a little bit earlier too. Why is the NXT Tag Team Champions not doing anything? It's been 3 weeks in a row where we've had the NXT Tag Team Champions Hank and Tank backstage doing nothing. This week they had looked like they've been attacked backstage, and I'm guessing this is going to lead into a Dark State match, which is what we've all been waiting for. Dark State just needs to take those titles and hopefully do something with this NXT Tag Division that really sucks. Alright, that's the end of the speed round, and now we get into our last award, the last thing of the video, and that is going to be Male MVP. Now I'm going to give an honorable mention to Stax for winning, of course, the Heritage Cup, and Jey Uso for having a great match with the winner of this award, Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes wins this award for a couple different reasons. Of course, we're going to start with his amazing match that he had with Jey Uso. That match really had me struggling to decide if Tiffany and Nia or Jey and Cody should be the winner of Match of the Week. Ended up giving it to Tiffany and Nia because I think that match overall was better, but this match was still amazing. And a face versus face, being able to have this much drama, I think it was great. I like that Cody's leaning more into the whole, like he said, I'm not going to slip up again. I'm not going to, like he did at WrestleMania, I'm not going to let that happen again. If I have to take out Jey, if I have to take out Randy, if I have to take out whoever, I'm going to take them out. And then on SmackDown, despite the technical difficulties that we all saw, they still had a decent promo. The promo was pretty good on SmackDown. Not the best promo, and it's really hard to focus when really all you can focus on the promo is how shaky the cameras are and how you can barely see it. But he had a very good promo on SmackDown, a very, very, very good match on Raw, so I thought Cody Rhodes was the easy male MVP. That's all I got for you. I try to kind of shorten it like I usually do for the one before the pay-per-view. I always say that and I never do, so let me not ramble in this outro. Let me just hurry up and say, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what your favorite match of this week is. If there's any awards you thought I gave to the wrong person, go ahead and let me know. Go ahead and subscribe for me. Ring the bell if you want to be notified whenever I drop a video like this. If you want to see my reactions, my reviews, and my rankings of the 2025 Night of Champs pay-per-view, that is already on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
This happened if I had real tough love, I'm bad at this, and I'm bad for this.
Narcissistic tendencies, I don't care about no one else. Narcissistic tendencies, I'm low, so set me on the shelf. Few people ever have my back, yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.